Okay. I am assuming we are live.
Oh, there we go.
Hey guys, we're trying out a live stream tonight to see how that works. Doing a live commentary for the best Amityville film. This is Amityville 2.
It's my favorite.
Session. Yeah, I think
there's like 15 I haven't seen, so.
Well, you haven't seen Dollhouse? Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we can go ahead and get started here. We have our players paused at the MGM logo. And here we go. I guess we can count down from 3, and then on 1, hit play. Or after 1, hit play. 3, 2, 1, and then play. Okay, Here we go. Let's do a countdown. 3, 2, 1, play.
Okay.
Let
me turn my volume down a bit.
I had a bit of a hiccup as I'm streaming.
Yeah, so while this movie technically seems like it's a prequel, they had to change that. It was marketed that way first, but because of legal reasons, they had to actually announce it had no connection to the first film. So technically, they have to say that it's an unrelated film that just happens to be inspired by an earlier part of the same true story, which the first film is based on. So it gets pretty confusing right off the bat. But anyway, so people know the Amityville story, and the whole thing is the allegedly paranormal stuff that happened after they moved in, after something that did happen in real life for sure, which was the family that living there before getting murdered by the son. So this movie's sort of a fictionalized account of that, of course, using the angle that it was definitely what he said, which is true. Again, when he was arrested, he said there were demons and stuff telling him to do it, voices and stuff. So that's what this movie. So
essentially, this would be a prequel,
right? But again, they couldn't market it that way, even though it doesn't really make much difference when you watch the movies. You see it, you think of it as a prequel, although. It's not. They don't try that hard to make it seem like a prequel in some ways, because this movie came out in 1982. The actual Amityville events happened in 1974. As you watch the movie, you'll see they make no effort to make it seem like it's 1974. In fact, at a certain point, you'll see 80s cars. I think you even see a Sony Walkman at some point. So they just kind of move it up there. It says something like based on the book Murder in Amityville. See, that was their main hook there. They wanted to make it seem like this doesn't have anything to do with the first movie. This is based on a book. Because, so even from when you get to the very first supposed sequel, this is like a legal quagmire, which is only, I'm sure, gotten more confusing as more and more movies came out. I've got it on the Amityville Horror Triple Feature, which has the first 3 movies, which is, I guess, all under MGM.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know who. It was a smaller company that put them out later on.
Yeah.
I want to say like Full Moon or someone maybe, because there was like a lot of straight to VHS. They even did one just like a couple of years ago. A new film, The Awakening or something.
Yeah, there's some newish one on my Netflix now. Oh, there's Paulie from Rocky. So Paulie from Rocky is the patriarch in this, and they make him quite the jerk ass. They make him abusive and terrible. He more or less terrorizes his wife and children.
So this is just like a continuation of his character from Rocky.
Yeah, it's like, what if Paulie had his own family? This is probably what he'd do.
Happy birthday, Paulie.
That'd be a great crossover. But what's his name? Bert something?
Oh man, I had it. Bert Young?
Yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah, cool. Indie Phantom's watching with us.
Oh, great to have us. I know this is a fairly late start.
Indie Phantom, I don't know if this is on Netflix or Shudder. I couldn't find it on either, but I didn't look on Shudder.
Yeah, I'm actually watching it on DVD. Well, that's our main character who will be doing the killing. Spoilers.
We can give you a timestamp if you can find it and watch along with us.
Yeah. We're a little over 4 minutes in at the moment.
I'm going to go double check Shudder to make sure I didn't look on that one. Hopefully it's not on there. Because I just paid like $3 to rent it.
Yeah. This is the Montelli family, who are pretty fucked up even before they moved in, as we'll find out. Although it's mostly because the father is such an asshole. What's interesting about the movie is that this movie actually has a much darker look and tone than the original.
Yeah.
The original does a lot of that daylight horror stuff, like something you would have seen in like the first Texas Chainsaw. But this one, a lot of it is like dark nights, and it's got sort of shot through gray. They're kind of showing it's a crapsack world. So this movie is actually darker than the first one. And of course, it has a much darker outcome than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And here's maybe our first bit, him looking at the house, and of course, how it always, from that, look like eyes looking at you, I guess, is sort of the impression they want to make. This is a house in, where is it? It's like Ocean Avenue, I think is the name of the street.
They've changed the house too. They've done away with those windows, I think.
Yeah.
So you can't. It's hard to identify.
Yeah, because so many people would show up, right?
Yeah. So the she just passed away recently. Lorraine.
Warren.
Warren. Yeah, they were the ones that originally did the investigation here and went on to various television programs.
Yeah. They were really the ones that kind of like legitimized the story that family told, right? Because I mean, if you do more digging, you find out like the family, like especially the father, had all sorts of shady things. Like he was somebody who believed in this sort of stuff before he ever moved in. It's not like they were just an ordinary family and they couldn't believe it. Like this was a guy that already believed in stuff like that. And I saw actually on Netflix a few years ago, what is it, the documentary where you talk to the kid?
Well, yeah.
Where he was like 10 years old when it happens, and he, he's so messed up by it. Like he believes it 100%, but it's more because like, well, you were a kid, and he talks about like when he was like, even before they moved in, he saw his father like summon demons or something. I don't know. You feel really bad for the guy. His whole life.
Yeah, it seems like he's really got some problems.
Mm-hmm. Don't watch. I'm gonna fall on you. Oh, already some sexual tension there. So I can even remember talking to people that were so confused by this because they thought like when like the incestuous stuff started happening, they missed something, and they were like, "Oh, they're not brother and sister." It's like, no, they are.
No.
And I don't want to jump into it yet because we're not there yet. Oh, you're not my type.
Yeah, we're not too far away.
And now she's like, they really already there. She's teasing him for the type of girls he's into and stuff. It's
big boobs, right?
Yeah. And that's what, I mean, I guess I was going to say, well, wait till we actually get to it. But as we see, like, she's sort of the one flirting with him, and he's just like, screw off. Which is sort of funny how it gets later in the movie. Because the whole premise is supposed to be, like, he's being possessed by the demon or whatever in the house, and that's what's making him do this. But she just seems happy to go along with it. So it almost seems like she always had a crush on him before anything happened.
They're biological brother and sister, right?
Yeah, the characters, yes.
Yeah. I'm just double checking.
And again, it's supposed to be the house's influence on him. It's, distorting him, perverting him, or whatever. But the interesting angle of that is, okay, that's his excuse. But she seems, again, happy. And just if we see our first scene with them together, she's sort of flirting with him, which is pretty weird.
But all these guns over here for later use.
Yeah.
We're going to use these in about 50 minutes. Yeah,
another room in there. I guess that's the famous red room.
Yeah.
Which they talked about in the other. It's funny how like these sorts of things spread so quickly. Like, oh, there's a red room. It's like, well, no, actually, there was just a room that might have had like a bit of red paint in it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. That's where all the Satan worship takes place.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is just around when that stuff's really starting to become a thing. Again, this comes from an actual event in the early to mid 70s, the actual murders, and then what the alleged happenings to the first family that moved in. But once you get in the 80s, that satanic panic stuff has hit the ground running. It's all over movies and stuff, and it's in a lot of pop culture, and people believe in it. They're like, oh, this rock band has demons on their album. They must really worship Satan,
They played up with that though. I mean they used that to their advantage. The
rock bands were happy because it helped them sell records and stuff, right?
Like, fuck you, mom. I'm gonna listen to this satanic shit.
Mm-hmm.
But so the murders did actually happen, right?
This actually 100% did happen, and the guy literally that was his excuse. He said the house drove him crazy, and there were demons whispering in his ear, and they made him do it. Because after he commits the murders in real life, he turns himself in immediately. Like, he doesn't go down to the police station. He goes down to the bar, like the local bar or whatever, and he tells people there. He's like, I just killed my whole family. And that was always his defense. Like, he never wavered from that. Even though I'm sure his lawyer probably told him, this insanity plea is not going to work out in your favor. I can't remember what happened to him. Did he go on death row? Was he executed? I can't remember.
So he didn't get the insanity plea?
I don't think so. I'll have to check.
I'm not very familiar with the actual.
I used to be.
Yeah, I've read about it in years past,
but yeah, this is where it all starts. In real life, a family living in the house, the son did shoot them all in their beds, turn himself in, and then tell everybody that it was demons or whatever that made him do it. That is true.
Native American burial ground, isn't that?
That's the angle they play up in the very first movie, but I don't know if there's any truth to it.
Hey, which one is it? Is it this one or the first one that has the priest with the flies?
For the first one.
Okay, I love that scene, and I love.
He gets covered with the flies, and then the voice goes, "Get out!"
Yeah, I love that part. I like in Scary Movie when they make fun of that. It's oh shoot, it's that actor that's really like a radical right wing now. He was in Videodrome.
James Woods.
James Woods. Yeah, he was in the Scary Movie version. And he was just like covered with flies.
Yeah.
And he was taking a shit too. I think that was part of it. I was
thinking about something weird that what James was in just today, like that I'd forgotten that he was in, and now I can't remember. It was something like this. It was like a horror type movie.
Cat's Eye?
Yeah, maybe it was Cat's Eye. That's in the Smokers thing, right? The Smokers part of Cat's Eye?
Yeah.
The Smokers thing, okay. I was thinking about that. That's another thing. A few of these have popped up in recent years, these sorts of sets, and there's a Stephen King one that I thought about getting because Cat's Eye is in it. I really like Cat's Eye. I think Cat's Eye is sort of underrated.
I do too.
But at the same time, I always wonder, I don't know if I like getting sets, if I could get better versions of the individual movies, so I don't know, we'll see. I think we're a very lucky family. So yeah, there's 4 kids. The 2 teenagers and then 2 younger kids.
And they also have sex, the younger kids.
Maybe in the director's cut.
Yeah.
Film, they wouldn't let us. They always see that the mother's religious. And the first thing she does is, "Bless our new house, Heavenly Father." Heavenly Father's not listening.
This is not going to go
well. No praying in this house.
Yeah.
And of course he blames them for putting the team. See, they're used to him just blowing up over stuff all the time.
God damn it!
You really do feel sorry for this embattled woman just trying her best. It's like, why did you marry this guy? But it's so true to life. So many people in situations like this.
Wasn't this like a pretty typical family for that time, though?
God, I think so.
Family with way too many kids and an abusive father.
They were pretty well off financially, though. He owned a car dealership, and that's why they were able to get a big ass house. So they weren't exactly struggling, even though they had 4 kids. They were actually a family that could afford 4 kids, which is rare today too. God, everything costs so much these days. Every time I go to my grocery store, they're always upping prices on stuff that I normally buy. It's I don't know. Can somebody come in and regulate this, please?
All right, coming out of the red room or whatever.
Yeah, POV camera.
This is the the ghost perspective or the demon perspective.
Yeah, which makes it seem like a very physical thing. Like it's actually walking around, going up the stairs. They never know how what to do with movies about like demonic possession and stuff like that because they don't know the rules. Because technically there aren't rules, right? So right now it seems like it's very physical, but other times it's kind of like, well, it can sort of like be anywhere in the house at any time and be aware of anything. But in this, oh, now it's going to see the cross. Gives it a wide berth. Man, those crosses are creepy. I mean, maybe just because I've seen too many of these movies, but like, I don't know. I've always been creeped out by the crosses that actually have Jesus on them. It seems like such a weird thing to fixate on, not to get into a spiel about religion, but I've just always thought, like, I mean, I remember
my crucifixes, really?
I think, like, most people that grew up Christian at some point in their life had the weird realization when they were kids, like, all those crosses, wait a minute, that's what that means?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think everybody had that moment at some point. Like, they were used to seeing the cross all over the place, but it wasn't until they were a little older and they understood better. They're like, so the crosses are the symbol of how they, like, murdered Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, we have them everywhere. Yeah.
Yep.
Seems very morbid, but
in movies like this, they usually turn upside down.
Yeah, that one. What was it? It threw like a blanket over it.
Ah.
See, he's got the headphones and a Walkman, so that was not around 1974, unless he was like in Tokyo and he worked for Sony and he had like a prototype.
Has an electric razor really working the period here.
Yeah. So they don't actually make an attempt to make it seem like it's 1974. Again, I guess because they realized they couldn't call it a prequel, even though it pretty much is one. But yeah, Burt Young. What's funny is I guess they kind of pushed him pretty hard because he'd been nominated for an Academy Award for some goddamn movie. So it was kind of a coup to have him in this movie. But
yeah, I mean, he hasn't done a whole lot that I'm aware of, but he did something that did really well besides Rocky.
Yeah, I can't think of what it is either, but I think I've seen it. I know I've seen him in something else where he's a fairly important character.
You look him up real quick. Dolores.
Burt Young. But yeah, I love thinking about